Graphic violence? Racist humor? Smoking?
Yeah, Barney Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should.
And drinking alcohol in a cartoon?
So, don't you guys drink beer? Only on a full stomach.
Preposterous, you say? Well, coming up, the story of the 11 censored Warner Brothers cartoons and why they were finally removed from syndication on this episode of Rerun Zone. Many things like racist humor and violence can easily be removed from cartoons when they are only in a small part of the cartoon. Things like characters in blackface after an explosion or a car accident can be snipped out without affecting the entire story. Unfortunately, with these 11 cartoons, the reasons for censoring were so extensive that any editing would have affected the entire cartoon. For that reason, it was just easier to take the entire cartoon out of rotation and pretend it didn't exist at all. That was the case with these 11 censored Warner Brothers cartoons. United Artists, the cartoon's distributor, was convinced that no amount of editing could ever make these 11 shorts suitable for distribution. So, they were completely removed from the syndication package in 1968 and have not been seen on television since that time. When they were first created in the 1940s, these cartoons were very popular. During World War II, racially offensive caricatures like the Japanese in Popeye's band episode, "You're a Sap, Mr. Jap," were accepted as war propaganda and dehumanizing of our enemies. Flash ahead just 2 decades later and the same propaganda was now just seen as racist. During the 1940s, when Warner Brothers cartoons were at their peak, censorship issues were sometimes harder to deal with than those with their movies. Unlike feature films, which are often censored in the script, animated shorts were approved only after they were finished. That made the producers extremely cautious about the restrictions. Director Chuck Jones once commented on the television censorship of the Warner Brothers cartoons that he didn't like to see the films cut at all. Jones said they make some cuts that are so arbitrary and stupid, you just can't believe it. Many animation lovers regard these 11 cartoons as works of art and think that despite their over-the-top racism, they should still be able to be viewed as history, with an educational disclaimer at the beginning of the short. 2 of these cartoons, directed by Bob Clampett, Coal Black and the Seven Dwarfs, and Tin Pan Alley Cats, are defended by animation historians and film experts and hailed as masterpieces of the genre. The first, a jazz-based parody of Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, is usually featured on lists of the best cartoons ever created, while Tin Pan Alley Cats is a hot jazz reinterpretation of Clampett's now classic 1938 short, Porky in Wacky Land. Clampett was way ahead of his time and was friends with many of the greats of the Los Angeles jazz scene. In fact, all of the characters in Tin Pan Alley Cats and Coal Black and the Seven Dwarfs are parodies of real musicians that he hung out with at the 1940s Central Avenue Jazz and Blues nightclubs. He insisted on having some of the actual musicians participate in the recording of the soundtracks for these 2 cartoons. Now, in 1986, when Ted Turner acquired the rights to the Warner Brothers cartoon package, he promised he was never going to air any of these cartoons from the Censored 11 list. They were the only cartoons that were not included in the Laserdisc collection, The Golden Age of Looney Tunes. Fritz Freleng directed the most cartoons on the list with 4, while Tex Avery directed 3, and Bob Clampett directed 2. Rudolph Ising has only 1 cartoon, and it's the oldest one and the only black and white cartoon on the list, titled Hittin' the Trail for Hallelujah Land. That was in 1938. Chuck Jones also directed only one of the Censored 11, with Angel Puss, in 1944. It's the only cartoon under the Looney Tunes banner on the list, with all the others under the Merry Melodies title. All This and Rabbit Stew, which was produced by Tex Avery, is the only cartoon on the list to feature Bugs Bunny. The Isle of Pingo Pongo, produced in 1938, has an early version of Elmer Fudd, who was called Egghead at the time. 8 of the cartoons on the list are considered one-shots, featuring no major Warner's characters. Since the list was created, more cartoons have been pulled from circulation, but have not been included in the original Censored 11 list. Among them are various World War II era cartoons featuring Japanese characters like Bugs Bunny Nips the Nips and Tokyo Jokio, which was a Looney Tunes war propaganda short. Some of the remaining cartoons, like the Gone with the Wind spoof Confederate Honey, have been heavily edited to eliminate stereotypical images of African Americans. A sequence in which a black-faced Bugs and Elmer perform Camptown races is typically cut from the short Fresh Hare.
Fantastic, isn't it?
September in the Rain, Fritz Freeling's cartoon, has several stereotypical black characters, but isn't focused on them. Some shorts with Native American stereotypes are also very rarely seen, including The Hardship of Miles Standish in 1940, Slightly Daffy in 1944, A Feather in His Hair 1948, Nothing But the Tooth also in 1948, Tom Tom Tomcat in 1953, Horsehair 1960, Hocus Pocus Powwow 1968, and Injun Trouble in 1969. In October of 2010, Warner's announced that they would be releasing a special edition of the Censored 11 cartoons, completely uncut and restored, with some bonus materials added. It was also to include other restored cartoons that had previously been heavily edited. By 2016, it was reported that the transfers had been done, but the DVD release was indefinitely delayed due to declining sales on previous Looney Tunes Platinum Collection releases. By 2018, animation expert Jerry Beck stated that the DVD releases had been shelved indefinitely due to changing cultural sensitivities, as well as poor sales of classic cartoon DVDs. Here is the entire Censored 11 list in chronological order. Hitting the Trail for Hallelujah Land, director Rudolph Ising, 1931. Sunday Go to Meetin' Time, director Fritz Freeling, 1936. Clean Pastures, also Fritz Freeling, 1937. Uncle Tom's Bungalow, director Tex Avery, 1937. Jungle Jitters, director Fritz Freeling, 1938. The Isle of Pingo Pongo, director Tex Avery, 1938. All This and Rabbit Stew, also Tex Avery, 1941. Coal Black and the Seven Dwarfs, director Bob Clampett, 1943. Tin Pan Alley Cats, also Bob Clampett, 1943. Angel Puss, director Chuck Jones, 1944, and Goldilocks and the Jivin Bears, directed by Fritz Freeling, in 1944. 3 of these shorts are now in the public domain: Hitting the Trail for Hallelujah Land, Jungle Jitters, and All This and Rabbit Stew. And there are quite a few shorts that are rarely seen due to their stereotyping of Native Americans. While most of these shorts can still be seen online with a little searching, the quality is not very good in most cases, but you can still get an idea of the nature of these cartoons. Let me know what you think in the comments, and as always, this is Rich from Rerun Zone, signing off.